folks, I got the Crown Vic behind me, and as you saw, this thing made almost 750 rear wheel horsepower on the dyno. It's about 950 horse at the engine, so close to 1,000 horsepower unit. Pretty impressive with this thing for 4.8 liters. So what's the next most common sense thing to do when you got that much power? Well, add nitrous. Now you might be thinking I'm joking or crazy about adding nitrous to this thing, but there's a good reason for that. So we're not necessarily adding this kit to step the power up. We can do that with boost, no problem, but this is going to help us in a couple different areas. So this is a 4.8 liter with a 7875 turbo on it, 1.25 AR. And the main issue that you get when you're running a small displacement engine with a big turbo is it takes a while for it to build boost on the two-step, or trans brake. So that's why we're putting the nitrous in this thing primarily. So when we're on the trans brake trying to build some boost, we're going to have the nitrous activate. That's going to give the engine a little extra juice before the boost comes on all the way. It's going to help the turbo spool faster. And what we're able to do is, because we're running Holley Terminator X, we're able to build in a table that will ramp the nitrous out. So this isn't going to be spraying nitrous, the entire time that we're racing or we're in boost. We're going to bring it in a little bit heavy to spool the turbo and then taper it out as the boost comes up. So that's going to help this thing live a long, happy life, and it's going to get us some better performance at the track. So here's a quick overview of some of the components that we're using that's going to make this possible. So like I said, we're running Holley Terminator X. This is Holley's CAN expansion module for inputs and outputs. So the Terminator X has 4 inputs, 4 outputs from the factory. This ties in line with the CAN bus circuit that's in that thing, and it's going to give us 8 additional inputs and outputs. So I've already used the ones up that are factory from the Terminator X, so I need a few more. So that's what this unit's for. Next, we're going to be using this NOS solid state relay. This is going to allow us to essentially pulse the nitrous solenoid. And so with this, we'll be able to taper out the nitrous. The nitrous kit we're using came with a standard relay, but with this solid state one, we're able to utilize, like I said, a table that's going to taper out the nitrous as more boost comes on. So this is a very nice piece. I've used this in the past, used it in the Battle Act for the nitrous when we're doing burnouts. Works great. The rest is really just standard NOS nitrous kit. So we have a 15-pound bottle. This is a dry kit, so there's the nitrous solenoid, some fittings, some wiring, the AN hose, bottle brackets, blowdown tube. So nothing crazy, but with Holley EFI, it makes using nitrous super safe and able to do it very pro and have it work great. So first thing I like to do when installing nitrous is hard mount the components that need to be mounted. So that's going to be our bottle, our solenoids, and once that's done, we can move on to the wiring and plumbing. But once you have the pieces mounted where you know they need to go, you can build around that. It just makes things a lot simpler from what I found. So we're going to get started with the bottle, and I'll show you how that's going to look in the trunk. So the bottle is going to be sitting in the trunk of this thing. Tons of room there. Just makes sense. So take a look at how I got this thing set in here. So I've got the brackets around the bottle, and I've made some marks in the carpet where I need to drill the holes. So I'm going to do a hole there, and we'll bolt this side down, and then once that's bolted down, we'll drill the other ones and bolt that down, and the bottle will be mounted. And then we're going to need to drill another hole for our blowdown tube. This is a safety device in case the bottle overpressurizes, and instead of blowing up, the nitrous will discharge out the tube. So that's the purpose for that. You need that. It's a safety device. So we'll get going on getting those holes drilled and get this bolted down. All right, bottle is mounted. We've got the blowdown tube hole drilled in the floor for that. Main nitrous line going through the floor, so I'm going to have to get this thing up in the air on the lift and route the nitrous line underneath the car, probably route that next to the fuel lines, and bring that up. Somewhere in this vicinity, and come over here. You can see I got the nitrous solenoid mounted. So the purge is going to go right here. I need to source the right fitting that will allow me to connect the purge to the nitrous solenoid. They sent a -4 adapter with it. This is -6, so we'll get the right fitting, and that'll be done. I've got my solid state relay mounted. Got to wire that up. So this orange wire will go to battery. We'll put an inline fuse there. The blue wire will go to the nitrous solenoid. One of the wires, the other one will go to the ground. We'll just ground that on the cylinder head. And then this black wire with the yellow stripe, this will go to our output on the expansion module that I put underneath the dash. Tucked up pretty good. Still got to tighten it down, but you can kind of see it. Well, can't really see it actually. Kind of, maybe. There's the connector for it. I've got the inputs and outputs terminated that we need on it. And it's just mounted to this plate. I gotta tighten it down, but we're doing pretty good. You can kind of see my gauge or switch layout. So this will be the trans brake button. I've had that there for a while, obviously. This is the bump button. So right next to each other, this is the purge. And then I got to put a switch in here to arm the nitrous. So I'm going to work on some wiring right now, and I'll keep you updated with how that's going. All right, we're underneath the Crown Vic. I'm going to route this nitrous line and get this thing tied up. So I wasn't able to source the fitting we need to go onto the purge solenoid or connect the purge solenoid to the main nitrous solenoid. So that was unfortunate. Hopefully that shows up tomorrow. When that shows up tomorrow, I'll be able to finish all the wiring. Don't want to do all the wiring right now just because I want to make it pretty precise, and can't really do that when you don't have the stuff hard mounted, so you don't know the exact location. So I'm just going to wait for that. But man, it's just crazy to think 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I bought this thing, and now it's fully operational. It's running good, and we're putting nitrous on it, and we're taking it to Florida to try and race a pretty well-known other Crown Vic, and maybe some other people that I heard about. It's just funny how things work out. Sometimes, you know, situations aren't the best, but you have to make the best out of them. So it's been my Rick talk. All right, next day, got all the nitrous wired up, all the plumbing done. I'm super happy with how it turned out. Take a look at this. So here's the purge solenoid connected to the main nitrous solenoid, plumbed into the intake tube. The wiring turned out super good. Very happy with that. Tucked it with the remaining wiring on the intake there. Yeah, pretty happy with it. I need a couple of more pieces of loom I ran out to cover up these wires right here. But outside of that, it's pretty good, I think. I'm happy with how it turned out. Looks clean to me. So that'll work. Why don't we test the purge and see how that goes. First test. Yeah, I'd say it works. Might need to work on my angle a little bit. Yeah, I probably need to work on the angle a little bit. Caught the wires there. Woo! It's cold. Let me just kick that up a little bit more. I'll try and find something that'll get us what we need to do before we race this thing on Saturday at Bradenton Motorsports Park. Hopefully against some big shooters. But I need a set of drag radials for the back of this thing, wheels and tires. So if you guys know anyone who might have some laying around, please get a hold of me. Hopefully I get this video done before then. I'm going to try and go on a posting streak, but we'll see what happens. Not feeling the best right now, and we still have a lot of work to get done, so we'll see. That's going to do it for the nitrous install at the Crown Vic. It didn't go too bad. Next step is going to be getting with my friend and tuner extraordinaire, Matt Sanford. He's going to set up our new can expansion module. He's going to set up the bump box for the trans brake. He's going to set up feeding in the nitrous to this thing while we're on the trans brake, and maybe while we're off it a little bit too. All right, we're doing a little Crown Vic tuning, and we're getting the bump feature set up. So I'm interested to see how this is going to perform. I think he's going to bring it up on the brake.
That is pretty cool. I like that.
Oh man.
This is going to be spicy.
Imagine pulling up next to this thing at the track
Man.
and you see this 4,000-pound Crown Vic just bumping it. I mean,
I'd probably be like, well, you know, as I'm pulling in, I'd be like, oh, I got this, you know, no problem. And then it starts bumping in, and I just hopes a minute, done. Probably I'd not be able to launch my car, miss a shift, you know, be embarrassing.
all right, so we've been having some issues with the Crown Vic down here getting up on the two-step. So back home, Michigan, super cold, good air for boost. Down here, not so much. A lot of humidity, hot, not great air. We were thinking we were going to be able to avoid using the nitrous to get up on the trans brake, make that boost, but, well, we're not going to be able to avoid doing that. So Matt's setting up the nitrous to come on when we're on the trans brake, and we're going to see how fast this sucker comes up. I think it's going to be pretty quick. Like I said, I put the 055 jet in this, which was the biggest one. I don't know what that correlates to horsepower. I just saw the big dog. That's what I wanted. So we're going to see how she does. All right, let's see how this unit sounds. Probably not the best place for my sockets on the roof, but... sounds rowdy.
Yeah, it comes right to life now. Yeah, this trans, I don't know. This trans brake is still doing the intermittent thing.
Yeah.
So, oh well. Good thing is it's the last, you know, basically the last race you're going to have this year. So,
yeah.
Got plenty of time for repairs.
Yep. All right, Burnout Rivals is going on. We're changing the wheels on the Crown Vic to get ready for some drag racing and hopefully see what this thing will do. It's been a long time coming for this thing to go down the track. Today's the day. Well, we're in the staging lanes here at Bradenton Motorsports Park, and judging by the line, looks like we're probably only going to get one test pass in. So the strategy is going to be use the nitrous to get up on the two-step, and then once it's on the two-step, I'll turn the nitrous off, bump in, and then go. So have absolutely no idea how the car is going to react, how the chassis is going to respond, what the tires are going to do. So we're just going to play it a little bit safe first pass out. I mean, the engine's still fully turned up, so we're, you know, 950 horse. It's a lot. So, all right, guys, what do you think this thing's gonna do first pass out? Just give me an ET, or you can say spin. I'll be okay with that too.
Man, it's either gonna spin or it'll go, I'll say 10-4.
Okay.
10-4? Dude, I'm gonna give this thing a 990, all right?
Wow.
She's gonna be an absolute ripper.
Wow.
First rip. All right, as long as it doesn't spin, I'll go 1025.
Okay. I think it's gonna spin, guys. I don't know.
I think it's gonna spin.
I'm gonna put some faith in the Mickey Thompsons, but I don't know, dude.
Put some good heat in it. Yeah, you gotta go a solid ripping burnout.
Yeah, these don't like a lot of heat though. You don't need a lot of heat in these tires.
And we got the solid top of the line AutoZone shocks.
Yeah, they're good, dude.
They're really good for drag racing.
They're brand new. I mean, they're not even brand used, which is my typical choice of condition.
It's better than the ones on.
Yeah,
We're on it.
that's true.
Dude, those O'Reilly spacers, those are what's doing it. That's what's making us go fast.
Hey, Stance Nation, baby. That thing's clean. That thing's clean.
Real good out there. Yeah.
All right, well, we're getting close. The line seems to be moving decently. I'm excited to go out there, see what it'll do. There's been a lot of people that have came and checked this out.
They're scared.
One dude said that airing the tires down, he's made some comment about it running 1390s. I mean, it's possible, but chances are I'd gap them, you know,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah, pretty sure.
All right, guys, this is it. I might look like an idiot doing the burnout. I've never done one in this thing before. Okay, here we go. Nerves are high. A lot going through my mind right now. lot happened on this first pass and the lead up to it, so I'll try and walk you guys through that. So the guy at the light, he doesn't think I know what's going on. He's trying to get me to light both bulbs. I'm waiting for the guy in the other lane to light his bulbs, and I think that he's just not going to go this pass, so he's not lighting the bulbs. So I've just got my pre-stage bulb lit, trying to bump in, and I don't blame the track dude at all for thinking that I don't know what's going on. The car obviously looks terrible and looks like something dug out of the scrapyard, so I totally get that. So I just decide I'm going to do my own thing, and I try to bump in. Huh? And nerves were high, and I just ended up letting go of the trans brake button instead of bumping in. So that's super unfortunate. You'll see at the end of this pass, I'm a little confused as to why I didn't get a time slip. Well, that's why, because the timing system didn't activate. Maybe I stayed on it too long. I don't know. That was a wild first experience. The dude, I don't think he thought it was anything special, but I just stayed in it. I don't know what that was gonna be. It felt very weird. I didn't turn the nitrous off either, so there's that. Man, there was a ton going through my mind being the first pass. This thing was just floating, dude. Like, it did decent. I don't know what was going on. I mean, how did it look though?
It looks fast.
Yeah?
Yeah, it looks good. It didn't spin, I didn't think, did it? I thought it hooked and went.
Yeah, it felt good, but there's a lot going on in this thing.
Yeah.
I left the nitrous on.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's living.
Yeah, it's living.
Leave it on.
Almost felt like it fell off a little bit towards the end, so I don't know. I want to check all the charge piping and everything,
Okay.
make sure how that looks.
For
so.
sure, let's go get back in the stadium.
Yeah.
Well, we had a real tough break. There's a little hole in there. We're gonna go try and find a patch, but it's not how we wanted the night to go. Not one bit. We're gonna try and limp it over to Cleetus' trailer, and maybe someone will have a patch over there. But unfortunate for sure. We'll see what we can do though, boys. Maybe we're not out yet. Flat tire, you hate to see it.
All right, well, super unfortunate. Didn't get any data from that first pass. And then we also somehow got a flat tire. There's a hole in that, so we're gonna try and plug that quick. Obviously not ideal, but I really need to get some data from this run. So gonna try and plug this, air it up, and hopefully make another test pass. We did get a data log, so we can review that. I guess that is a decent piece of information to see what was going on. So we'll take a look at that as well before we head back up to the staging lane. Couple more, dude.
Dude, that's so solid. That's good for sure.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. All right, well, hopefully this plug will hold, and we'll be on our way to making another pass.
No big
Hopefully
deal.
with some more data.
11.5 at 131. Spinning.
Well, guys, I botched that one by not turning the GoPro on. Stupid me. But we launched it, hit the tires super hard, spun. Yeah. Wasn't a great pass, but we should be interested to see what it traps at least. Okay, so it went 1150 with a 131 mile an hour trap. So, I mean, that's a deep 10-second trap right there. The 60-foot, horrible. I mean, 2.0. So nothing to write home there. But I mean, 131 mile an hour trap in the Crown Vic for its first actual recorded pass. That's awesome, dude. That's super cool. And it's driving home, or back on the trailer at least. Well, here's the slip. So you can see 2.0 60-foot trash. It spun super hard. 1154 to 131. You can tell from the video I was out of it right after it started spinning, then had to get back into it. So not surprising the ET wasn't there, and the mile an hour is, I'm pretty happy with that. But had I not needed to get back into it and I stayed in it, or could have stayed in it, that probably would have been higher as well. So overall, pretty happy with that number. That we can work on with the suspension, or at least getting a better lane. Car left super good the first time out. I really wish I had the time from that, but is what it is. Overall, guys, super happy with how the Crown Vic performed. Got 2 passes in. Car's going to be able to drive back on the trailer. 131 miles an hour on the quarter. Super respectable. And with a little bit of work, we can make this thing work really good, and I think get it to that 9-second quarter mile where it needs to be. So appreciate your guys' support in this matter. I'll have some more Crown Vic stuff coming up, even though it's going to be winter back in Michigan and we're not going to be able to take it to the track anytime soon. But I've got some stuff that it needs over the winter that we'll be doing. So we'll get to that later. And again, appreciate your support in this matter. Thank you to those who are part of the membership program. If you're not and you have a couple extra bucks, you want some cool perks, check that out below. Appreciate you guys buying the merch, buying the parts. Every one of you helps get us out here. So see you guys in a couple days.